students of Communications Law 4303. My name is Monica Perrin, and I am an adjunct instructor at the University of Houston. I also have a law degree from UH, but I have spent my career as a journalist in newspaper journalism. Today I am here at the Museum of Printing History in Houston, and it's a fascinating place. I am standing next to a linotype machine that was used by major newspapers, including the Houston Chronicle, up until the 1970s to set type. And then the plates of type were put on huge presses, of which there's one in the back of the room here. It's a fascinating place to come and see the entire history of printing from earliest times up to the present. That demonstrates the incredible changes that have happened in communications during the course of my career, and even more so in the course of your lifetimes. Communications has changed so much because of technology, and that's what we're going to be looking at in this course. The laws of communication were mostly written from, say, the 1930s to the 1950s, and they applied to the three existing types of communications in that era: print communications, newspapers and magazines, broadcast, radio and TV, and telephones. And the laws applied to those media. And now, of course, today we have all of this digital communications media, we have social media, and the laws are struggling to keep up with those changes. So that's what we're going to be looking at in this course. There are all kinds of issues that come up every day in terms of communications and the law of communications. There are some new issues, a lot of new issues, but there are also older issues that still are around but have to be applied in new ways to the new kinds of communications technologies. One of these is libel law. Libel law has been around for a very long time, but it used to apply primarily to public figures, particularly journalists, who were publicly making reports and making statements, and sometimes they or their newspaper or their broadcast station would be sued for libel. Today, any of us can be targets for libel lawsuits because we are all tweeting and posting on Facebook and social media, and any of these things that we put out there, we can be sued for libel for. Some of you may be familiar with the Courtney Love case, where she was sued for libel because of tweets that she had made concerning her dress designer, and her dress designer sued her, and that she finally settled that lawsuit for something like $430,000. Another example is an employee of a sheriff's department in Virginia who clicked on the like button on Facebook for the sheriff's opponent in an upcoming election, and the sheriff fired the guy. This went to court. The lower federal court ruled in favor of the sheriff, saying that he had the right to fire the guy. Great. Little glitch there. But then it went to the appellate court, and the appellate court overturned the ruling and said that the clicking of the like button was an expression of free speech protected by the First Amendment, just like if you would put a sign out in your yard endorsing a particular candidate. So there are those kinds of cases all the time. Then there's the issue of the social media and digital technology in courtrooms. That's another thing we're going to be looking at. Think about the Casey Anthony trial and how hugely that was impacted by the social media, whereas you never had any of that previously. You had newspaper reporters and you had TV and radio reporters covering a trial. Now everybody can talk about the trial and it gets out immediately. In this course, you're going to be doing a lot of reading and critical thinking. You need to keep up with the assignments. If you get behind, it's going to be hard to catch up, and if you don't turn in written assignments, you get a 0 on them, and that's going to bring down your grade. So you need to keep up with all of that. Current events is going to be very important because everything in this course is happening right now, every day. So current events are going to be very important. You're going to be turning in current event assignments, And you need to pay attention to the blog. I will be posting on the blog current events that are relative to whatever we are studying at a given point in time, and we're going to discuss those on the blog, and you need to participate in that. You need to read the announcements. Right now there are a lot of important instructions on there about the course, and throughout the semester I will be putting instructions and information on the announcements. You have course materials, additional course materials. That section has additional course materials that you are expected to read in addition to your chapter assignments. Your chapter assignments in the syllabus have a list of focus points that emphasize what I consider to be important in each of those chapters, and you need to pay attention to those focus points. That pretty well covers our introduction to the course, and as I said, this is a really interesting place to come and visit. This particular machine, as I said, was used until the 1970s, so it gives you an idea of how fast things have changed. And they have newspapers out here, historic newspapers that show the headlines for important events in history. It's a great place. Thanks.